Hello, how's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome. Uh, Fraternity, Chop Chop, Catherine, Woodland Yeti, hello. Mary Angel, Fraternity. Hey everyone, hello. So before I even get into the Q&A, Carrie, I saw what you did, and it was brilliant. That was fantastic. The green screen effect that you did. Uh, I'm gonna have nightmares about that forever. Aside from that, welcome everyone to the stream. I hope you're all doing well, and hopefully the week has been good for you. Uh, Today we're going to be going over a quick demo. It's kind of a demo I put together at the last minute, literally like this morning, just in the last hour or so. And the reason I want to do this demo is I was doing a Q&A yesterday at class, and I was giving feedback to a bunch of students, and I was noticing a common it's a common issue, and it's an issue that most students run into as they start learning, which is not properly animating the spine or posing the spine. Today we're going to focus more on the posing aspect of it, but I want to go over some of the common issues I see, especially as a mentor. I see a lot of students coming through. I've done all of these mistakes myself when I was a student, but it's these common things you can look out for as you're posing the spine, and ways you can avoid it in the future. So that's going to be the topic for today. We're also going to be doing some posing just to see how we can approach pushing the spine and getting these exaggerated poses. And I see what's happening in the chat. Yes, my quick demos, they always end up being like 3 or 4 hours at least. I'm gonna try to keep it, at least the main topic, pretty short, and then we'll go into the posing, which will probably take a while as I go over random topics and go on weird tangents. That's going to be the goal for today. Now, as usual, if anyone has questions or demo requests or anything like that, definitely feel free to ask. We can go over whatever people want. Let's see, just catching up with the chat here. Just be thankful it wasn't you who got their face done. Yeah, I wonder what would happen if Cameron and I did that, where we green screened just part of each other's faces. How weird would it look? Let's see. Last time your advice on my demo with a flour sack really helped me pushing into a higher quality. Oh, I'm glad that it helped. That's awesome. Never change. Let's see. Will you be taking some time for feedback? Most likely, we'll see at the end of the demo. I'm assuming it's not going to be too long. I'm hoping it's not going to be too long, but again, we'll see depending on what demos happen throughout the stream. I do have a lot of work that I need to get done today. I ended up not getting any work done that I was supposed to yesterday because I was helping some students try to recover their animation. So all of the projects that I was supposed to work on for me got pushed to the side. So I've got to do a lot of catching up today, so I might not be able to go super long if we start going overtime on other things. But I always do try to keep some time for feedback if we can. Let's see. I want to teach people how to start an animation, but I fear I'm not good enough to do that. How do you deal with that feeling? I'll put it this way, it never goes away. So it's something that I deal with all the time as well, where you're never going to be the best, and it can be very daunting. Like, for example, I'm an animator, but I look at Glenn Keane and all of these other fantastic animators, and it's like, I'm not as good as them. What do I have to teach? What can I teach that they can't teach? Like, people should be going to them instead of to me. Why what gives me the right to teach someone? But keep in mind that whether you're the best or not, you have experiences that you specifically went through. You have things that you struggled with and overcame, and you have stories and ways of approaching things that helped you, and those same methods could help someone else. So it's not really about being the best or being good enough. It's really just about sharing the things that helped you. And maybe you're not going to be teaching the most high level topics right away, but you can teach the I guess the intro to animation stuff, the things that you've mastered already, the bouncing ball, those kind of things. And as you get more experience and as you get more comfortable teaching, you expand to the larger topics and kind of the bigger things. So for example, I'm not great at storyboarding. Storyboarding is something I like to do if I have time, but I've never really learnt it properly in terms of all the technical terms and all of that. It's just a hobby I do more than anything. So I can't teach it, but I can share the things that I know about it. And as long as you're upfront and go, hey, like for example, for me on storyboarding, don't take this as gospel. Don't take this as you must follow these rules. This is stuff that helped me. Maybe it'll help you, or maybe it won't, but at least maybe it'll give you an avenue that'll lead you to something that'll help. So learning things or teaching like that it's really how to put it, it's just sharing your experiences, and honestly anyone can do that, and you shouldn't be afraid of doing that because you never know who's going to help. So yeah, and then like Sin is mentioning here, a good way to start is giving feedback so that you don't have to prepare a lecture, but you can practice helping others and training your eye as well. It's very daunting, but it gets easier. And what a friend told me was, at least some feedback is better than no feedback. Exactly. That's how Cameron and I started. We did not expect to become teachers. We did not expect to start teaching at an animation school. That was not in the plan at all. That was never in the plan. But we just started giving people feedback, and it kind of grew and grew and grew until eventually we started creating a newsletter to help share some of the common things that we were noticing. And then it grew into us creating special little hangouts and Q&As for classmates and for the school. And then it became us teaching, and now on Twitch, just doing all of this. And it is just this steady progression of sharing knowledge. That's really what it comes down to. So I hope that helps. I know it's kind of a vague answer, but that feeling of not being good enough to teach, I don't think really ever goes away, because we're still learning, especially animation. It's not a field where you're going to learn everything. You're going to know every single thing about animation and you're going to be set on it. No. I'm learning new things every day. So you're never going to be like prepared to teach, but you can always teach what you already know. So yeah. See, I've already publishing content on my YouTube, but I'm always afraid of sharing something wrong. But it is things like you said that help me overcome my challenges. Yeah, and that's the big thing. It's that fear of giving wrong advice, again, never goes away. But there is no right advice. For example, let's just give one quick example. When I'm animating, I like to use FK Spine a lot of the time. That's my preferred method of animating. Now, I do use IK Spine in a lot of situations, but my preferred way is FK. Some people don't like that. They hate FK Spine. They cannot animate an FK Spine. It screws them up. So if I give them a critique and go, oh, you should try this in FK, that's going to be the wrong advice for them. But it could be the right advice for someone else. There is no right way. You're just sharing your opinion. And that's the thing. Whenever you're asking for feedback or receiving feedback or learning something in animation, as the person who's learning, we always have to keep in mind that these are all opinions for the most part. There are things that we can learn from it, but it doesn't mean that we have to do it. We must use the thing that they said, and it is the rule, and we cannot change or do anything else. No. As long as it looks good in the end, as long as it works, that's the important bit. And all of the fundamentals, the 12 principles, all of that are ways that we can kind of use as guides to make sure that we're applying it correctly. But it doesn't mean that they have to be always the same, or else everyone would just be animating the same thing all the time. So it's very important to keep in mind that anything you learn in animation, regardless of the channel, whether it's from Sir Wade, whether it's from an animation school, whether it's from anything, these are all guidelines, but not hard and fast rules. And when you give advice, let's say coming back to the teaching aspect of it, when you give advice to someone, you are giving advice that helped you. Does it mean it'll help them? Not necessarily. But at least you shared it, and if it did help, great. If it didn't help, well, now they know what doesn't work. And if you know what doesn't work, you can start going towards what does work.